So today I'm going to show you how to set up a database. A database is basically an electronic filing system. It's lots of different files which can be interconnected and which can have relationships. So for example, if we work in a plumbing company, we might have files for our customers, we might have files for our sales team, and these files may be related in some way. So salesperson A might have sold a new bathroom or a new kitchen to customer 123. Salesperson B may have sold a new shower to customer 1. Okay, so there's different relationships between different files and how they're all connected. So let's start by sharing the screen. Okay, so first we need to set up our database. So in this case, we're using Access. I'm going into my Start menu, and Access is one of the programs available in Office. So I go in here. Here we go, and it's saying, do I want to set up a blank database? Yes, I do. So I click on this one, okay? Click on this one, and I want to create. But first of all, I'm going to name this. So in this case, I'm going to name it Employee Practice 2. Okay, I have an Employee Practice 1 already. There we go. I'm going to create my database, and this is where it's being saved in my OneDrive. Okay, so create. This brings up what we class as a blank database, and you might think it looks a little bit similar to other Microsoft programs, and you'd be quite right. It's got a home tab, it's got tools, fields, it's laid out much as such the same. Okay, so first thing we need to do is create what's classed as a table of information in order to put information in. Okay, so I will click on here, table. Okay, click on here, and what I want to do is, this is a really important part about databases. It's the view that you're in. I want to go into design view. So click here and come down to design view. Click that. It's asking me to name my table. So in this case, I will call it employee 1. Okay, employee 1. And it has given me a table in design view. Remember, I'm in design view here. Okay. So first things first, this little key here is primary key. Every table, every record, if you like, a record is a piece of information about one person. So one customer would have their own record, one salesperson would have their own record. Every record should have a unique identification, and that's called the primary key, So in this case, that can be automatically generated. We're going to go back and set this again at a later date. So at the moment, I'm not going to put this in. What I am going to do is start inputting some information. Just get my files up so I can see the information I'm going to input. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to call this first field. A field is one piece of information, which is within the record. So in this case, surname, okay, surname. If I use my tab button to come across, it's telling me, is this a number? No, it's going to be text, but instead of long text, I'm going to choose short text. Short text, as we can see down here, gives you 255 characters. So there's not many surnames I know that are more than 255 characters, so that's okay. Next one down then, surname, forename, and again, short text, okay? Third field, remember a field is one piece of information within a record. A record is one file for a customer, a salesperson, a vehicle, something like that, one item, okay? So this one is department, okay? And again, short text, okay? Come down further, date of birth, and this one, we can put in something slightly different. If we choose the drop down menu here, we can choose date and time. So I can put that in, and then I can look up dates in a calendar. Okay, date of birth, and we could have start date, the date these people started with the company. Okay, so again, if I come across, this would be a date and time. And the final one we can put in is hourly pay grade. Okay, and this would be a number. Hourly pay grade is a number. They're on grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So So in this case, number. Okay. This is my table. This is all the information I want in it at the moment. So what I'm going to do is now save this. If you think that each table, each record, each piece of information within a database is separate information, so we have to continuously save what we're doing. These are all separate files, but they get connected by access, okay? So they're all separate files. So see, just Control S, okay, Control S or the save button up here, either or. So I'm going to Control S, save, okay. Now what I want to do is start inputting information into this table, but I can't do it from here because remember, we're in design view, okay. So what I need to do is go back in, click my view and go to data sheet view. Data sheet view, and you can see this brings up a table quite similar to an Excel spreadsheet in a way, okay, in which I can put in my information. Some of this you can play about with. You can make these columns longer, just same as Excel, by sitting on it until you find a cross, okay, and then you can drag it along, and that means that we can see exactly what we're doing. And the same with hourly pay. So sit here, sit on the lines in between until you get the cross, using your left mouse button to press and pull along. Okay, hourly pay, oh, excuse me, hourly pay, just a little bit more, hourly pay, great, there we go, we can see now, okay, we can see. So now I'm going to start inputting my information, and once I bring it up on the screen, bear with me, here we go. Right, I have my information. So the first one that I'm putting in is Ross, okay, Ross, forename, Scott, department, sales, date of birth. I could use the calendar to look up the date of birth, but as you can see, it's going to take me forever and ever and ever to go back to 1951 when this gentleman was born. So I'm going to cheat a little bit, and in here I'm going to type the date of birth, but I know the format for it. Okay, so it's 2 digits, and 4 digits. So I'm going to say 21 10 1951. Okay, and again, oh, you can see I've made a mistake there, okay. It does not match the format. I missed out my oblique. There we go, that's it. It will work now. And with the start date, again, 10//10/1985. This is the format it's looking for. And if I was to change that start date to something recently, you can see that's the format using the calendar that it puts in, okay. But in this case, the start date is 10/10/1985. Okay. Hourly pay grade for this person is grade 2. Okay. Pressing my tab button just takes me to the next record. Okay. So this is one record. This is one record of information for Scott Ross. Okay. One entire record of information. Each piece here is called a field. So surname is a field, forename is a field, department is a field, date of birth is a field, start date is a field, as is hourly pay grade. But the entire information for Scott Ross is a record of information. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the second record, which is Rafet Hussein. Okay, so Hussein, Rafet, and Rafet works in reception. Rafet's date of birth is 10/05/1950. My goodness, these people are old, aren't they? And its start date was 1/05/1970. 50 years ago. Gee whiz. Use your tab key and move along, and Rafet's pay grade is 1. Okay, tab key again, and it takes us to our next record. Our next record. In this case, it's Greaves, James, accounts, 12/12/1958, 16/11/1978, and pay grade 3. Okay, pay grade 3. Next record is Rosemary Porter, and Rosemary works in accounts also. Rosemary has the same date of birth, funnily enough, as James Grieve, 12/12/1958. Oh my, what a coincidence. Rosemary has also started on the same date. as James Grave, okay? And Rosemary is on the same pay grade as James Grave. This is deliberate in this exercise to show you, when we talked about unique identifiers, primary keys at the start, you may think, okay, what could be a primary key? Maybe I'll use date of birth, or maybe I'll use start date, or maybe I'll use pay grade. That could be a unique identifier for these people. Okay, it can't be. If there's any possibility of anybody else at all having the same date of birth or the same start date or the same pay grade, then that one piece of information cannot be a primary key. We're going to move on to primary keys in the next lesson, okay? But meanwhile, what I want to do is save this. Okay, so I have my employee one table here. So I save, here we go. And in this case, I'm going to close down my database. This is me. I have now created a database. The main things that you need to take from this particular lesson is your different views. At the moment, I am in data sheet view, which means I can enter information. I could also go into design view. I could add in extra fields of information down here, okay? If I want to input information about customers, about staff, about employees, I need to be in the data sheet view. That's the view that I need to be in order to enter information at this stage. Okay, and let's close this down and come back on screen. Here we go. Oh, stop sharing my screen. There we go. So that's how to create a database and how to differentiate between design view and data sheet view.